Hey everyone, and welcome back. So got a lot of news to get to. Some of it obviously I'm playing a bit of catch up on, and then others literally were just announced almost right before I actually sat down to make this video. So let's just get to it. First up, there's a new box set from Severin that is up for pre-order right now. Retails for $99.95. But is up for pre-order right now at the Severin website for $75, and that is the Danza Macabra Volume 3, the Spanish collection, a 4-disc Blu-ray set, and luckily there's 4 movies in the set, and all 4 are luckily region-free. And just in case I forget at the end, I do want to mention also real quick that currently up until May 24th, I believe, if I remember the date correctly, you can get Volume 1 and Volume 2 from Severin for 50% off. So if you haven't gotten them yet, definitely this is a good time. So, all right, let's just get right to this set. So it's got 4 Spanish films. Each one has gotten a new scan from their original camera negatives. And the 4 films are, let's see if I can pronounce these okay. Necrophagos, oh boy, from 1971. Sorry about that name. All right, second film, Cake of Blood from 1971. That one I can pronounce okay. Third film is Cross of the Devil from 1974, and then finally The Night of the Walking Dead from 1975. So as far as special features go, we'll go back to Necrophagos. Okay, let me just get to the special features, that one. So first up, it's got an English and Spanish mono track. Has a new audio commentary track with Andy Marshall Roberts, host of the Nasty Pasty podcast. Something You've Never Seen, appreciation by Angel Sala, head of programming at the Stygus Film Festival, the first horror film festival in the world. A remembrance by Maria Pilar Rafaelas, daughter of the festival founder, as well as trailers. And then next up for Cake of Blood, we also have, we have Spanish mono only, but we'll have English subtitles. It does have a commentary track with Rod Barnett of the Nashi cast, and Dr. Adrian Smith, co-author of Norman J. Warren, Gentlemen of Terror. My Generation, interview with actress Marissa Paredes. I Just Wanted to Have Fun, interview with co-director Jaime Chavarri. To Whoever Wants to Watch, interview with actor Jose Lafante. And then finally, an art house UFO, appreciation by Angel Sala. Next up for Cross of the Devil is, Spanish mono only, also with English subtitles. Commentary track with Kim Newman, author of Anno Dracula, and Barry Forshaw, author of Brit Noir. Fascinated by Becker, interview with screenwriter Juan Jose Porto. The Real Templar Knights movie, appreciation by Angel Sala. And Fantasy and Imagination, The Legacy of Gustavo Adolfo Becker, a video essay by Xavier Aldana Reyes. Holy cow, I hope I'm pronouncing some of these correctly. I know the half Latin part of me is probably just like shaking its head, which it should. I should be able to pronounce these correctly. And then finally, the last film in the set, The Night of the Walking Dead, will be in both English and Spanish stereo. Have a commentary track with Kat Ellinger. A Deadly Invitation to Another Dimension, appreciation by Angel Sala. Leo's Signature, interview with writer Juan Jose Porto. Dead Man Walking, interview with actor Jose Lafante. Spain Cinematic Vampires, a video essay by Xavier Aldana Reyes, as well as an alternate Spanish credit sequence. So that is it for this box set. Another, really cool one, it looks like, from Severin, and again, they do have that sale going on for another week if you haven't picked up the first 2 sets yet. All right, so now we move on. Let's see, where should we go next? All right, so next up, we're actually going to go to Kino. So Kino has a couple of announcements, including and also some details on some of their upcoming releases. So first up, a announcement of an upcoming 4K release of the movie Bad Boys. Now, not the one with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. In fact, isn't there like a 4th one coming out soon, if I'm not mistaken? This is actually one from the early 80s starring Sean Penn. No details just yet, but I did want to mention that one real quick. So first up, we do now have the details for their upcoming release of the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 4K release. So again, there will be 2 different versions. Just as a heads up, there will be a 4K disc that also comes with a Blu-ray and then a Blu-ray only release. So the included Blu-ray with the 4K will be identical to the separate Blu-ray release. So definitely an interesting thing for the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So obviously it does have a new HDR Dolby Vision master from a new 4K scan of the best available 35mm elements. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think the negative is missing or unfortunately could be gone. I hate to think about that, but that is, I think, a possibility. But there will be two separate versions of the film. There'll be one that'll be in the 2.0 to 1 aspect ratio and one in the 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio. Now, the interesting thing about this, and it'll be, I don't know what elements they had, but so when Invasion of the Body Snatchers came out, technically it was shot 35mm flat. It was supposed to be matted for 1.85 for that aspect ratio in theaters, but that was also around, the movie came out around the time where much more like CinemaScope and Cinerama and a lot of those widescreen films were becoming, sort of the thing. So what they did is they sort of forced matted Invasion of the Body Snatchers to be 2.0 to 1, which is more or less the equivalent of 70mm, so that it'd be shown in some of these theaters that, it's all these big wide screens. Now, the problem is, it was kind of like they did it, and then it was a generation removed. And I believe most of the home video releases of Invasion of the Body Snatchers have actually come from that once removed 2.0 to 1 version, which is why it's always been a little soft. Now, the 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio is the actual original aspect ratio, and so the question is, which 35mm elements will they able to go back to? I'm hoping, because they're offering this aspect ratio, that they did have some sort of extra widescreen version that hopefully will look really good. Obviously, we'll know once we have it in hands. I definitely have it on pre-order. Anyway, just want to mention that. I know it's a little technical, but I am glad. It is interesting that both those versions are on this release. And it does port over pre-existing extras, which is good, including commentary track with Kevin McCarthy and Dana Winter, moderated by Joe Dante, a commentary track with film historian Richard Harlan Smith. But it does have two new commentary tracks, one with film historian Steve Mitchell and Nathaniel Thompson, and another commentary track by professor and film scholar Jason A. Nay. So all that will be on the 4K disc, and then the rest of the extras will be on the Blu-ray, which has obviously the film itself in the two different aspect ratios, as well as the commentary tracks, and also The Fear is Real, a featurette, The Stranger in Your Lover's Eyes featurette, I No Longer Belong, The Rise and Fall of Walter Wanger featurette, 1956 and 1978 theatrical trailers, and that is due out June 25th. So can't wait to get this release, and very interested to see how the film looks after all this time, see if maybe they were able to get some really good elements, I hope. And then next up from Kino, we got a couple of July releases coming. So first one, which they did actually announce right before I made this video, so I'm glad I was able to squeeze it in. Coming July 30th to 4K only, I believe, is actually a double feature of, it's called Peril and Distress, and it's got two films with it. So it has And Soon the Darkness, as well as Sudden Terror, which I know that's been, the Screen Factory put that? I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure those have been released before, I believe on Blu-ray. Now, both films will have transfers from the original 35mm camera negatives, but they will be an SDR only. They do come from a 2019 4K restoration. And it does have a couple of extras. Luckily, I believe all of these will, in fact, be on the 4K disc. I assume, because it's, as far as I know, it's only a 4K disc. So it has a couple commentary tracks, including commentary track on And Soon the Darkness by director Robert Fust and co-writer, co-producer Brian Clemens, moderated by Jonathan Southcott. And then on Sudden Terror, director director John Howe and uncredited writer-producer Brian Fors, moderated by Jonathan Southcott. Another commentary track for And Soon the Darkness by film historian Troy Howarth. Commentary track on Sudden Terror by Howard S. Berger and Nathaniel Thompson. Theatrical trailers for And Soon the Darkness, Sudden Terror, and Eyewitness, as well as a radio spot for And Soon the Darkness. And again, that is slated for July 30th. Retailing for $49.95, but is up for pre-order right now, at least from the Kino website, for $33.22. Because again, that is a double feature release. And then the next two are 4K upgrades from previous Blu-ray releases. I believe, in fact, do they even come with a Blu-ray? Yeah, so I think for both of these releases, I assume the Blu-ray that they come with probably is identical to the Blu-ray that they've already put out. I was going to go through it real quick. So first up, coming July 16th to 4K is the film Nightmare Beach from 1989. So the 4K disc will also be an SDR transfer, non-HDR transfer from a 2019 4K restoration. We'll have a commentary track with film historian Sam Dean, and it'll have a 5.1 surround track and a 2.0 mono track, both in English and Italian. And the included Blu-ray will have the rest of the extras, including Nightmare Rock, interview with composer Claudio Simonetti, and the theatrical trailer. Oh, is that it? Nothing more? They couldn't just put those two things on the 4K. Anyway, okay, so yeah. So Nightmare Beach is getting a 4K upgrade, and that one retails for $39.95, up for pre-order right now, at least from the Kino website, for $26.57. And then finally, one I'm excited about. I'm not gonna lie, I love this film. From coming July 16th to 4K, a 4K upgrade as well, is Cannibal Apocalypse from 1980. Which is going off a 4K restoration from 2020, also in SDR, not HDR. And in case you're wondering, HDR obviously has the extra passes for wider color gamut and color reproduction. SDR doesn't do that. Now that's technically, ideally you want an HDR pass, but for some films, and honestly for these films, I don't think it's really going to be that big of a deal because it's still going to look good. So as far as extras go, obviously, just like a Nightmare Beach, I have a 4K disc and a Blu-ray. Again, I'm assuming the Blu-ray is probably identical to the Blu-ray that they already put out a couple years ago. But the 4K disc will have an audio commentary by novelist and critic Tim Lucas, as well as 5.1 surround, as well as a 2.0 mono audio track. And then the Blu-ray has the film with commentary track and the rest of the extras, including Cannibal Apocalypse Redux, documentary with actors John Saxon and Giovanni Labardo Rudis, and director Antonio Margheriti. Cannibal King, interview with actor Tony King. Apocalypse in the Streets, a video tour of filming locations. Alternate U.S. opening sequence. European theatrical trailer. Japanese trailer. And will be in 2.0 mono only. So that is slated for July 16th. I think it's the same price. Yeah, retail $39.95 out for pre-order right now, at least from the Kino website, for $26.57. And again, with Kino, just a heads up, I'm pretty sure all of their Blu-rays, 4K region free, as far as I know, for all their 4Ks, but their Blu-rays usually are region A locked. So just a heads up on that for those of you outside of region A. I'm definitely excited for Cannibal Apocalypse, even though the Blu-ray is fine, and I'm sure it probably won't be that much of a difference, but that's definitely one I will be picking up. And then that's pretty much it. I'm going to mention two things real quick to wrap up this video. Obviously, the big announcement that happened while I haven't been around for a couple weeks is obviously we've gotten the official announcement kind of for the 4K release of the original Nightmare on Elm Street coming at some point this summer. Now, still waiting on final details. There have been some details, I think, on the UK release, which I assume is going to be pretty much the same as the US release, but I kind of just want to wait for that the final details on it. Now, this is coming from Warner Brothers, which I kind of figured. No word yet on any of the sequels or anything like that. I'm assuming if we do get any of the sequels, it's going to be from a third party. So, and again, I'm guessing probably Scream Factory if we do get any of them, which is still possible. I haven't ruled that out yet. But at the very least, in honor of its anniversary, because this is the 40th anniversary, right, of the original Nightmare on Elm Street, we'll at least get the first film in 4K. And I do hope that a couple of the minor audio issues have been hopefully corrected. If I remember correctly, there was like a missing sound effect and a missing music cue. Might be one or two other things. So anyway, hopefully all that has been fixed, but obviously I'm waiting for the final specs. And of course, the next weekend being Memorial Day weekend here in the States, there will be a couple sales going on next weekend. Obviously, probably one of the big ones will definitely be the Vinegar Syndrome sale going on, where they'll also announce the rest of their, those secret titles will be officially announced. Now that sale goes live at 12:01 a.m. Friday, which basically is midnight Thursday. Thursday night. So it's technically, so if you're on the East Coast, that is basically 1 minute past midnight on Thursday night. I'm in Central Time, so it'll be 11:01 p.m. Thursday night. So just depending where you live, kind of adjust that accordingly. But I will cover that next week when all that goes live, including any of the other sales going on, which probably will be a few. I'm sure a lot of these sites will take advantage of the weekend. They usually do. There's usually a lot of sales kind of going on. So anyway, wanted to kind of get through all this. I do apologize for not being around for the last 2 weeks. Just my schedule went completely out of whack. Had just a lot of stuff that unfortunately did need my attention. There are times where, life does, real life does actually have to, unfortunately, come first before other things. But I do apologize for the absence, and not just in videos, but also in responding to comments, which I am going to be doing. So I do apologize if, I'm responding to comments that you left like 2 weeks ago that I'm finally getting to. So that's it for this video. Definitely let me know your thoughts on all these announcements and everything. And yeah, definitely keep an eye out for all the stuff coming next week. I'm going to try and cover it as best I can. And as always, thank you for your patience, and thank you as always for watching, and I will see you on the next one.